Hello everyone, it's Sandra and welcome to today's video. January is finally behind us. It was an absolutely miserable month. Let's hope that February will be better. I ended up trying a lot of new products over the last couple of months and I really wanted to share my experience with them. There have been some hits, there have been some disappointments. I also wanted to touch on a more in-depth comparison of the new Prada concealer versus the new Chanel concealer. Everything will be timestamped, so if you only care about my thoughts, comparing these two concealers, feel free to skip on to that. But I wanted to touch on some skincare really quickly because I discovered one of my favorite cleansing oils and it's from Prequel, the Pre-Gleanse cleansing oil. It's just so lightweight and easy. It absolutely destroys makeup. It rinses clean. I can even rinse this clean with cold water. You know, sometimes in order to get a good rinse from a cleansing oil, maybe you need a little bit of warm water, a washcloth, but this one just rinses clean even with cooler water, which is great. I heard that it's bad to use warm water, stay away from super hot showers, warm water, washing your face, especially in the winter time, because that can lead to skin getting dehydrated quicker. And I'm just trying to hold on to every morsel of hydration. And this is great. It's a fantastic, gentle, it doesn't smell like anything. I love the packaging. It's affordable. I have loved everything I've tried from Prequel. The other hydrating skincare hero is the Madagascar Centella Quick Calming Pad. This is from Skin 1004. And these are super, super thin toner pads, but you don't use it as a traditional toner wiping all over the face. This is designed almost like, think of it as like a spot treatment sheet mask kind of situation. So they are very, very thin. They come with this little tweezer. Again, fragrance free, doesn't smell like anything. And I've been putting these on areas where I'm very, very prone to dehydration and where I have some dry patches or some irritation. I just kind of plop them over on those areas as needed. Sometimes I get a little dry on my forehead. Sometimes there's a little dry patch on my chin. You just kind of spot treat with these toner pads and you leave them on for a few minutes just until everything is absorbed. Since they're so lightweight, they don't slip and slide around either. So I find them very comfortable and they're just lightweight, gentle, easy hydration that doesn't irritate. It calms, it soothes. The toner pad itself kind of traps the hydration onto the skin. Even in the summertime, I feel like these will be great if I just store them in the fridge. This is another skincare launch that I have enjoyed. This is from the brand EADEM, and I really love EADEM. It's the same brand that makes my ride or die favorite lip balm. And they launched the Mark Advanced Dark Spot Concentrate. So this is a spot treatment for dark spots. It's a tranexamic acid spot treatment, and it has a really nice fine tip, so you're able to really hone in on those areas that need a little bit of extra help to fade. And I've noticed a really big difference in the reduction of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. I haven't noticed a significant lightening on some of my older sun damage marks, but on fresh blemishes that are healing, this has made a difference. I feel like those are fading faster than they were with just my regular routine. And the texture is so nice. It almost creates a protective layer, a protective film to really focus the active ingredients on that spot without migrating, without moving around. And I've had no issues layering this with any of my skincare. So I use this in the morning. I wash my face, then I dot this around. I maybe wait a couple of minutes just to make sure that it's absorbed, but you tap, 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 and it instantly sinks in. Curious if it's going to make a difference on the little melasma patch that I have on my forehead. I haven't noticed a reduction in that yet, but the biggest difference I've noticed is with those post-inflammatory, like those post-blemish marks that I'm noticing the older that I'm getting, the longer it takes for those to fade. So this has been a wonderful addition. And then the other new skincare launch from the past month that has just absolutely blown me away. I've used this every single day since I bought it. This is the Dieux Skin Mercy Intense Recovery Cream with 1% colloidal oatmeal. I don't think I signed up for an Arctic blast every week, but that's what the universe has been delivering. And even though I have combination oily skin, it gets so dehydrated in the winter, and I had a couple of eczema patches that I was dealing with, and this just instantly soothed things. And the texture is so gorgeous. It's not greasy at all. It just has this beautiful plush texture. It feels really nourishing, but it's not heavy. It's not greasy. I think this is just going to be my new holy grail winter moisturizer. I feel like my search is over. It's acne safe, it's fragrance free, and I honestly don't know anybody that wouldn't like this. I have friends with drier skin that also really love this as well. I think it's worth a try if you're in the market for a new cold weather moisturizer. All right, now let's talk concealers. Two very highly anticipated concealer launches caught my attention, one from Chanel, one from Prada. The Chanel concealer had been out in Europe for a few months, but it didn't launch in the United States until early January, right around the same time as the Prada concealer. So I bought both for research purposes. I actually ended up getting two shades in the Prada concealer. I got shade LN3 and LW3. LW3, since it is a little bit warmer, does a nicer job kind of counteracting the discoloration under my eye, so it almost acts like a corrector, whereas LN3 is neutral and just a little bit lighter. LW3, and then this is LN3. Chanel, I ordered it in the shade B30. B30 is my Chanel shade in their foundations. The B30 in the concealer is a little bit lighter than the foundation B30, but I like that because for the under eyes, I don't mind something that's just a little bit brighter. As you can see, the Chanel B30 is closer to LN3 in the Prada, maybe just a hint darker. Prada concealer is $48 for 8 milliliters of product, and the Chanel concealer is $53 for 8.5 milliliters of product. So you're paying $5 more for 0.5 milliliters more with the Chanel. In terms of packaging, I would say the Prada has a more interesting design. It's more visually appealing to me. I find the branding really nice. Prada's whole thing is the triangle logo, so they even took that into consideration with the applicator. As you can see here, the applicator has a triangle tip, and then you also have the signature Prada green and the wand. You have the logo, which is kind of, there's like an indentation in the logo where you just see Prada, you know, with just whatever leftover concealer rubs around the side. So I really appreciate that attention to detail. I think it's really nice design, but the packaging itself is plastic. So it feels lightweight. It's nice. Chanel feels a little bit heavier. It's got that classic Chanel elegant minimal aesthetic. You know, you get the Chanel logo at the top, little Chanel at the bottom here, and this is heavier. It's frosted glass. And the wand is slim. It's a slim, narrow wand. I'd say the Chanel distributes a little bit more product from the wand than the Prada. And in terms of consistency, they're both very thin formulas, which I typically don't like. I like a thicker concealer formula. Those just tend to work better for me. Not always, you know, there are exceptions to the rule, but most of the time, thin concealers don't really do it for me. A lot of the popular serum concealers that have come out in the last few years, I haven't enjoyed. But these are thin, they set. They're not slipping and sliding around. The Chanel concealer is a pinch thicker. So in between the two, the Prada is thinner. They're both thin, but Prada is thinner. The Prada sets more, and it sets to a very natural skin-like finish. It just looks really undetectable on the skin. The Chanel is a little bit thicker, a little bit more coverage, and it has a bit more luminosity. You can even see on the swatches of my hand that the Chanel swatch has maintained more luminosity. I personally prefer the Prada formula. It really just looks undetectable on the skin, and it wears so well without needing to powder. Like I said, I'm trying to kind of hang on to every morsel of hydration that I can. So if I don't have to powder my face, I'm not going to. I've just been using the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin blurring liquid. What is this called? The liquid blurring balm. This is amazing. So this is what I've been using just to set my face. In terms of finish and coverage level, I would classify the Prada concealer as medium coverage with a satin skin-like finish. And the Chanel concealer is a medium plus. Like medium, it's not full coverage either, but it's like kind of in between, like a medium to full, slightly luminous finish. But obviously, if you powder it, that luminosity is not going to be visible. The one thing that I really, really love and that I was really impressed by with the Prada concealer is the performance without needing to powder. The Chanel concealer needs powder for it to last me through the day. Otherwise, it creases more significantly. All right, so this is the Prada side. You can see how there's less coverage. But it just looks so natural and skin-like. It's barely detectable on the skin. And the Chanel side, which I did set with powder. I used the Wet n Wild powder. I would rather have less coverage under my eyes than have like a cakey, super makeup-y look. I filmed some demonstrations that you'll see playing on the screen right now. I had V-beam laser done on my nose. So I have a lot of like shattered blood vessels that my body is reabsorbing just to get rid of the redness on my nose. And I wanted to kind of demonstrate the difference in coverage between the Chanel concealer and the Prada concealer. So you will see me just completely barefaced and using the same amount of concealer, using the Chanel concealer for under my eyes and to conceal the redness on my nose versus the Prada concealer, again, to just conceal my under eyes and the redness on my nose. And you can see that the Chanel has more coverage than the Prada concealer. I'd say that in a pinch, both of these work equally as nice under the eyes and on the rest of the face. The Chanel got a little cakey looking sometimes. And sometimes I would try to build it up and blend it out with a beauty blender, and it would get really patchy. So I just had a few instances where it was harder to get the Chanel to look right and to sit nicely on my skin, even though I wasn't doing anything different. My skincare routine hasn't changed. I tried to use the exact same base products as I was testing each of these formulas. So the Chanel has been like a slightly finickier formula for me. I had a more consistent positive experience with the Prada concealer. The Prada concealer almost reminds me of the old Armani Power Fabric concealer. I don't remember the Armani having self-setting claims or anything like that. It was just, I used to have to set it with powder, but the Prada does remind me of that concealer a bit. One thing to note though, which might be a deal breaker for some of you, the Prada concealer has a fragrance. If you are very sensitive to fragrance, sensitive to scent, I think it's worth noting. It's a very pleasant, very, very fresh, clean kind of scent, and it's quite subtle. The Chanel concealer does not have any fragrance. After about the 7-hour mark, that's when things go downhill really fast. For a few days, I wore the Chanel on one eye and then the Prada on the other, and you can tell how much worse the Chanel side looks compared to the Prada. I did want to give myself ample time testing both formulas. I've had them for about a month, so I've been exclusively wearing them under the eyes, testing them. seeing how they perform with powder, without powder, different application methods, and those are my findings. Do you need both? Absolutely not. From what I'm seeing online, a lot of people with dry, very dry skin, dry under eyes, do not like the Prada. If you have combination oily skin and you like thin, undetectable, but high performing formulas, I think you'd really enjoy the Prada. I for some reason in my mind, the Prada concealer is like the Lisa Eldridge skin tint, but for the under eyes. So I've been loving this combo together. The Chanel concealer, since it has a little bit more coverage, it has a little bit more luminosity. This is a concealer that I will keep in my collection. Like I said, I do enjoy it. It's just not going to be my everyday go-to concealer. This will be a, like for shorter durations of time. I think this will be a nice evening out concealer, since it does have a bit more of a flawless look under the eyes. It has a bit more coverage. If your skin leans a little bit more on the normal to dry side, you want a bit more coverage under the eyes, and you want a little bit more, you want a thin formula, but you want it to have maybe just a hint of light reflection, a hint of luminosity to it. The Chanel would be a better bet. I want to give you some shade comparisons with some other concealers that I have just for reference. So let me just swatch these again. I still love my Victoria Beckham concealer. The Victoria Beckham concealer is like the Chanel Water Fresh tint for the under eyes. So this is like my least coverage, most minimal, natural looking concealer. The Sarah Creel concealer formula by comparison is just so much thicker and a lot more emollient. This concealer does not perform well under the eyes. It really kind of slips and slides. And if I, use enough powder to get it to stop sliding around, then it just looks really cakey. But I do enjoy this just in a very small amount, sheared out over the face. This looks really pretty. But I know a lot of people, especially with drier skin, that really like this under the eyes as well. The Westman Atelier concealer, again, is going to be a lot thicker. It's going to have slightly more coverage. I really like the Westman Atelier concealer, especially just used in a small amount. House Labs, kind of similar to the Westman Atelier, but just a pinch more long wearing, maybe a pinch more dry. This is my favorite, like long wearing, fuller coverage concealer. This is what I would use for summertime, if I want like a summertime glam, hot, humid days kind of concealer. And then the Givenchy concealer, I don't like this under the eyes. Kind of similar to the Sarah Creel, but lighter weight, not quite as emollient, but I love this on the face. Or if I'm spot concealing blemishes, the Lisa Eldridge Pinpoint Concealer, or like a creamier, thicker formula like the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer, I would reach for those types of formulas more than using like a liquid concealer for spot concealing. This is Prada LN3, Prada LW3, Chanel B30, Victoria Beckham L1, I think. Let me double check. Yes. Victoria Beckham L1, Sarah Creel 3, Westman Atelier L4, I think. Yes, Atelier L4. This is House Labs 21. No, sorry, House Labs 11. I also use 21, but I'm out of it. That one's a little bit darker. And then this is Givenchy N250, which is an amazing color match for me for the rest of my face. When it comes to the rest of the face, my most worn complexion product has been the Lisa Eldridge Skin Tint. I have a standalone video on this. I just absolutely love this. Just such an easy throw on, everyday, undetectable base. The shade T6 is my perfect winter match. It's a really great light medium, true neutral undertone, but it's like maybe on the lighter side of light medium. Look at that. Look at that color. It's perfect. Finally bought a Chanel Baume Essentiel. I bought the one from the Rouge Noir collection. I think it's called Cute. I just thought it was cute. I like the color. I like the name. I always wanted to try this formula, but I just never did. So I thought this was my opportunity. It's very, very sheer. And I really like the color. It's a really pretty, a hint of cool pink, which I really love on my cheeks. I love a cool pink on the cheeks because everything tends to pull warm on my cheeks. So even cool pinks, a lot of the times just end up looking like neutral pinks on my skin. So I won't say no to a cool tone pink. The color is really pretty. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting this to change, to blow my mind. I don't know. The way some people talk about this formula made me really excited and maybe gave me super, super high expectations. And I should have known better because I'm not a highlighter person. My cheeks are on the oily side, so I like to joke that I naturally produce my own highlighter. After a few hours, the natural oils on my skin come out and give me a natural highlight. I'm very grateful for that. As frustrating as dealing with oily skin can be in other areas, I do welcome the natural highlight that I get from the oil production, but this feels thicker and stickier than the natural sebum that my skin would produce. So this definitely has, yeah, it's a little sticky. It's very, very pretty. Don't get me wrong. It genuinely gives you that really natural, dewy skin look, but it's slightly tacky and it stays tacky. It's very pretty. Let me add a tiny little amount here just to amp up the natural oils. So if I just use a very, very small amount, very strategically, it looks gorgeous. It's very pretty. But yeah, it's just not as life-changing as I was hoping, I guess. But I think if you have dry skin or if you have combo skin with dry cheeks, this will be amazing because it literally looks like naturally dewy skin. I just personally prefer the formula of the Merit blushes. So if I want to enhance that naturally dewy skin finish, I would reach for my Merit blush, which has a dewy finish, but this is not sticky. I don't regret buying it, but I was underwhelmed by it. And then the other kind of underwhelming thing that not even underwhelming, disappointing. Okay, I was expecting something else. I ordered the Bare Muse blush from Soshe. I love this formula. This is an amazing, kind of like a cream, but it's like a dry cream blush formula. If you like the Chanel cream blush formula, if you like the old discontinued Armani Neo Nude blushes, you will like the Soshe blush formula because it's along the same lines. It's very smoothing and blurring. And I got the shade Bare Muse because I love a beige blush. And look at this. Look at this in the pan. When I saw the swatches of it, I was so excited. I was like, this is it. This is going to be my replacement for my Old Faithful Armani Neo Nude in shade 20. Unfortunately, the Soshe pulls warm on me. It pulls really peachy on my skin. You can see here. I'm trying to swatch it on this portion of my hand because this kind of resembles some of the tones that are on my face. So you can see what I'm talking about. See how much warmer this looks on my skin compared to the way it looks in the pan? Kaki just did an entire video on beige blushes and how to find your perfect beige blush depending on your undertone. So highly recommend checking that out. She's an artist, so she has a lot of color theory background and she explains it that some of these colors, the reason why they turn orange on some of us, I have a neutral olive undertone and olive is green. So the green in my skin cancels out the pink in this formula. So all I'm getting to show up on my skin are the orange tones. So I've been trying to kind of mitigate that by adding a very, very thin layer of a pink blush. This is a cooler toned pink blush. This is from Ciele. This is one of my favorite blushes on the planet. It's called January. And this I've been kind of using this just to amp up the pink of the Soshe so that I tone down the super peachiness of it. I don't mind the peachiness, like I don't mind the way this looks on my skin, but it's just not what I was expecting. I was expecting something a little bit more cool toned or a little bit more neutral at least. I think this will probably suit me better in the summertime if I do a light layer of self-tan. When I self-tan my skin, my undertone is a little bit warmer, and then that kind of lends itself nicely to some peachy tones, warmer browns. So I'm definitely going to use this and love this, but I was expecting it to be a dupe for my beloved Armani, but it's not. Armani is also a touch darker, but it's definitely not as peachy on my skin. So it gives me that naked cheek look, whereas this just makes it look like of like a warm peachy bronze look to the skin, which is also really pretty. I don't, like I said, I don't hate it. It's just not what I was expecting. The new Crown Affair Air Dry Cream. This is the Smoothing Air Dry Cream. This is what I have in my hair. This is the only styling product I used in my hair. I washed my hair and then I applied this. I have naturally wavy hair, and this is my natural hair texture. It makes my hair really soft. It smells so good. I love the smell of Crown Affair products, and I'm super happy with this. I actually had just ran out of my other air dry cream. I was using the Oribe. I have thin hair, I have fine hair, but it's wavy and really frizz prone too. I kind of got an interesting mix of hair texture from both my parents, because my mom has very fine, thin hair, but her hair is naturally straight. And then my dad had coarser, curly hair. So I kind of got an amalgamation of both. It's kind of tricky to deal with sometimes because a lot of frizz taming products tend to weigh my hair down. This, I was a little bit wary because this initially says that it's recommended for medium to thick hair types. It's not, they don't say that it's recommended for fine hair. So I was like, oh my God, it's probably gonna weigh my hair down, but it doesn't at all. I need to play around with the amounts. I feel like I still have a little bit of frizz. I could use maybe a little bit more, but I wanted to be careful and not over apply. So I just apply a nickel size amount. I just apply it on towel dried hair, and I let my hair, I comb it with a wide tooth comb. I scrunch a little bit, and then I just let it air dry. And it makes my hair so soft. The Oribe left more of a cast in my hair that I had to scrunch out. This just doesn't leave any cast. It makes my hair feel as if nothing is in it in the best way. And then if I want to just add a little bit more hydration in between washes, I use my leave-in conditioner. This is lighter weight. This is more of like a water-based, lightweight lotion, whereas this is a slightly thicker cream, but it's not greasy or heavy by any means. If you had the Crown Affair leave-in conditioner and this was too lightweight for you, this is like an amped up, more moisturizing version, so I would recommend it. And then the other hair product, I actually bought this in the Sephora sale, and I've been using it a ton, especially when I have my hair up. This is the wand from Chris McMillan. It's a hair gel wand, and it has stronger hold than my Crown Affair hair gel. This is just nice to have in my handbag on the go to tame those sprouts. Sometimes, my grays are coming in. Gray hair tends to be a little bit coarser, a little bit more wiry, a little bit more stubborn. And this just is able to tame those harder to tame hairs and flyaways, while at the same time not feeling overwhelming in the hair. It's still really high, really lightweight, but it just has stronger hold. Mine and my husband's favorite new shower gel brand. We love a bougie shower gel experience. The Cyklar Sensorial Shower Gel is absolutely phenomenal. I have the scent Vanilla Verve here. We also have Sacred Santal. My husband prefers Sacred Santal. Vanilla Verve is like a sweeter, more gourmand vanilla scent. It's so delicious. It's like a grown and sexy vanilla. There's just beautiful depth to it. It's not just straight up sugar cookie vanilla. Sacred Santal is amazing. It's a creamy sandalwood that's also a little bit sweeter, a little bit warmer, which is really nice, especially for winter time. I want all of the scents. I want to try them all eventually. And I just found out today that this brand will be carried at Sephora soon, which is so exciting. We were only able to get it from their website directly, so it's nice to see that they are going to be getting more widely distributed in Sephora. The texture is so cool. It's an oil gel hybrid. It truly feels like a luxurious experience, but it does lather. But the lather is very creamy, so it's not drying at all. It feels so nice and silky on the skin. It leaves the skin feeling really soft and nourished and hydrated, but clean. If you're in the market for a really bougie treat yourself shower gel, highly recommend them. And if you're not into gourmand vanilla scents, if you want something like a zesty citrus, they have a bergamot scent and a neroli scent as well. The last makeup thing I wanted to talk about is my lip combo. The pièce de résistance is this new Dior. The Dior Addict Lip Glow Oil in shade 088 Mocha. This is a total impulse buy. These were not on my radar whatsoever. Do I need new lip gloss? Absolutely not. So Dior reformulated their lip oils recently, and they have a bunch of shades. They have a bunch of finishes too. Some of them are like sheer, and they have that pH adjusting thing that makes your lips bright pink. Some of them have more pigment to them, but in a creamy finish. And then some of them are sheer, but they have glitter in them, these really tiny little glitter particles, and that's the one that caught my eye. This is a cool toned brown, but it's got a little hint of like a pinky red in there. It's sheer, and it has so many gorgeous, mostly silver, but there's like some pink. There's a bunch of colors of glitter here. There's like silver, pink, couple gold flecks in here. I've just been wearing this every single day. The formula is amazing. It's thick and plush. It softens lip lines. You can see here, it's a sheer formula. I love this color so much, and has a nice big wand. Has a very pleasant kind of like minty vanilla scent, and it actually feels hydrating, and it's not slippery. I like thick plush formulas, so I love this. I have been wearing it either alone or with Lisa Eldridge 3C lip liner. Let me swatch the whole lip combo. And if I really want to commit to like a full-on lip look, I will do Medici lipstick from Lisa Eldridge. This is such a gorgeous, cool-toned rose. I love this color so much, especially for winter. And then the Dior Mocha Gloss just complements this combo perfectly. And I just love how thick and plush this formula is. I don't feel any grit to this. I guess it depends on what shade you get, but this is the lip combo. Lisa Eldridge 3C liner, Medici lipstick, Dior Mocha Gloss. Oh my gosh, look at this gorgeous cool tone perfection. All right, friends, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you so much. Just the fact that you take time out of your busy days to engage with my content, to watch my videos, just to take a little bit of a break from the chaos of everyday life, and we just take, you know, half an hour to talk about a couple of silly little beauty things that bring us joy. It certainly makes my day to be able to do this with you. I hope you're having a beautiful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.